ring at 8 minutes. We don't want to be mean, but our schedule is super tight. And audience, thank you for coming. After each presentation, can you please do a mighty round of applause for each presenter? Without further ado, please welcome our first speaker, Richard Tong.
My topic is, my speech is entitled My Journey, Human Rights Through the Eye of a Traveller. And I have to say, when I was in year 7, I was without a doubt an absolute nutcase. I thought that the world revolved around classical music, and that Twitter was a type of disease. But in term 3, or to be precise, the following holidays, my mum dragged my entire family on an international holiday, and that was when my journey began. Not for the first time, she had planned a magnificent tour de education. One glance at the itinerary showed me that nothing much had changed from last time. We would rush from museum to museum, art gallery to art gallery, and medieval castle to medieval castle. Little did I know that this tour of Germany and Austria would change my view of the world forever. On the streets of Munich, I learned about an Austrian painter. When young, his often intoxicated father often beat him and his mother. When older, his beloved younger brother died, and as a young adult in 1907, his mother died. Living off the streets, and twice denied entry into the Academy of Fine Arts of Vienna, this young artist moved to Munich. We know him today, of course, as Adolf Hitler. But I'm not here necessarily to talk about Hitler. I'm here to talk about what I've learned all these years, about human rights, and about kindness, compassion, about life. And as I stood in the gas chambers of Dachau concentration camp, I thought to myself, how could one man have killed so many? How could we, as an international community, have let him get away with all this? And how can we, as united now as we will ever be, ever stop this from happening again? Now you're probably all staring at me thinking, well, this off his rocker. I mean, this is the 21st century we live in. A world of tweets and of forums and of blogs. And I suppose it's true, after all, with the power of the internet, Occupy Wall Street has become Occupy the World, and Egypt has rediscovered the meaning of democracy. But there are places where the web's power still cannot reach into. There are still places where information which so wants to be free is suppressed. In the 1970s, Cambodia, already destabilized by the loss of their monarchy, fell to the Red Khmer, known to us, of course, as the Khmer Rouge. In under 3 years, the extreme social engineering and persecution of anyone with an education or with connections to foreign governments or former governments, or even anyone who wasn't able to work hard enough for the movement. Over 2 million, possibly even more than 3, were killed. In the Khmer Rouge's democratic Kampuchea, as it was known, we see a reflection of Nazi ideology. In Germany, Martin Niemöller, a priest, was detained at Dachau concentration camp for not being enthusiastic enough about the Nazi movement. In Cambodia, many relocated city dwellers were detained for not being able to support the movement through their farming. Martin Niemöller survived, whereas 6 million Jews, 2 million Cambodians, and 40,000 Russian prisoners of war, who all had rights under the Geneva Convention, were all brutally and mercilessly murdered. So what is it that I'm trying to say? Well, World War II wasn't what a crazed German fanatic did to the rest of the world, nor was the Khmer Rouge what a crackpot communist government did to Cambodia. These extreme abuses of human rights are what a human has done to other humans, regardless of race, regardless of creed, regardless of religion. It could happen anywhere. I say happen because still, in our modern 21st century of technology and of tweets and of Facebook, our most basic of human rights are still being fiercely denied. Burma may have taken the right step in releasing Aung San Suu Kyi, who was democratically and justly voted in over 20 years ago but has since remained under house arrest. But there is a long way to go and many mountains to tackle before all the animals, as George Orwell would have said, are truly equal. I think a conversation that I had with a friend a couple of days ago really put things into perspective. I was talking about my dream of studying law, perhaps even working for the UN and specializing in human rights, when he turned and he said to me, "You know, human rights lawyers don't really earn as much as commercial lawyers, right? And that the UN is mostly voluntary." Now this may be so, but I say this to each and every one of you. James Roos, you truly are the cream of the crop. You have the world at your feet. With your 99.958, you can choose to do whatever you like. Be it a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, an engineer, or even, dare I say, a hairdresser. Yes, the official hairdresser of the 2000 Olympic Games was a Roos student. As a Roos student, one of the greatest cliches that I've heard is that one wishes to work as a doctor to help people. So James Roos, please, the world is out there and the world needs your help. And as Steve Jobs would have said, here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels. In short, to you, James Roos, you will push the human race forwards. Maybe this idea is a crazy one. Maybe I am a crazy one. But only people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. James Roos, we are all, in a sense, round pegs in square holes. I know that I certainly am. So don't just be content to work as just another lawyer in just another law firm, or just another surgeon in just another hospital. James Roos, you need to think different. There are those in the world who truly need to be helped. And who better to help them than you? Before I leave you all, I'd like to share a quote from Dachau survivor Martin Niemöller. After his release, he said, "First, they came for the communists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. But then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." So James Roos, don't just join Amnesty for the stab. You cannot let money be your drug. You cannot allow your greed to overcome your goodness. You cannot wait for them to come for you. Follow your dreams, James Roos, and you will change the world.